Here at Marysville, tell check out 108. I'm getting a report there's a possible shooting in the cafeteria. You're on site right now.
10-10. Scene secure for 8. Get him in here.
Copy.
Medic 61.
Medic 61, requesting you stand by in the area. So be GSW.
Carrying 61.
Copy. So I have 865 SALS. And these are confirming 2 code blast 3.
Confirming 2 code black. From the cafeteria, snowpack.
Contact CPR. It's exposed. Contact CPR.
2 additional.
It's that kind of job where we don't want to talk about when we're having a tough time. We keep it in. Then we come into our job and we take on more of society's ills and we try and fix it. We've asked these young men and women to do sometimes incredible, amazing, unbelievable things that Hollywood makes movies about. Those big things take a toll. We owe it to them. We owe it to them to do everything we can to help them through these crises.
Units en route to residential fire. 5-1, a blizzard landing on East. Report of a house and garage fully involved. There is 1 female unaccounted for. 1 RP touches on the back bed, another RP touches downstairs, and that she's disabled.
Okay, Battalion 81, why don't you go ahead and start me 3 more engines?
Copy, 3 more engines.
My name's Kat Knowles. I work for Seattle Fire Department. I've been a firefighter here for a little bit over a year. We go through many calls during the day. Some can be super influential to some people, and some can be completely normal for other people. And if we don't treat those differently and treat those people differently and give them the tools to be able to deal with those situations, it's super hard for them to speak up sometimes. A lot of things add up after a while. I mean, if you're going on 10, 15 calls a day, and it can eat away at you, by the end of the day you end up being a little raw and a little bit less empathetic to people that you're dealing with, and I think sometimes it affects stuff outside of work. I went through something super tragic about 4 or 5 months ago. I lost my son to suicide, and for me, it was super hard for me I thought it was gonna be super hard for me to come back to work. We have a critical incident management team, so they are set up to come in and help families, they come in and help the crew, they come in and help families of members of the crew if they have something going on, but they're members of our own fire service, so they're firefighters. They're people that have been through what we're going through, they have an understanding, but they also have some sort of training that gives them the tools to be able to help us in ways that we probably don't know. We had gone on a call about, it was the shift before everything happened with my son, and we lost a baby to SIDS, and we did CPR all the way to the hospital, and they were here as soon as we got back from that call. There was a phone call in place, and they were going to come stop by and be able to help us out and give us tools to be able to deal with those type of things.
I'm Mike Washington, Seattle Fire Department. I've been a firefighter for 29 years. Well, I've been involved with peer support for a number of years, going back to around the Pang Warehouse fire time, and seeing how that was rolled out at the time and how it didn't work for a lot of firefighters, and dealing with the aftermath of our line of duty deaths. And I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to be part of making it better. As someone who struggled with suicide as a firefighter, you look at society as a whole, and if we had a group of people here, we know that people as a child have gone through abuses, the sexual molestation, psychological abuse, economic deprivations, you name it. And I had all those. I had all those as a child. So I joined the Marine Corps, and after the Marine Corps I became a firefighter, and I started seeing the things that we deal with in the fire service. And in the meantime, I'm still in the Marine Corps Reserve, and I'm going to Desert Storm, I'm going to Bosnia, Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, and I'm seeing things there. But I don't talk about them, because if you don't talk about it in the fire service, you don't talk about it in the Marine Corps either. It's that culture, right? That culture that we all wanted to be a part of. Before I even joined the Marine Corps, I had a litany of things. But what we do, we just put that away. It's just, especially at that time. I'm 55 years old, and at that time, okay, we don't talk about it. We're just gonna move on with our lives. And there is something to be said for moving on with your life, but you need help doing it. And then for me, the road to the idea of suicide, the serious road where I am on a bridge, was on June 14th, 2008. I was notified that my son was killed in action in Afghanistan. And I was at Fire Station 16 at the time. And the white Suburban pulled up, and that Marine officer came up and notified me that your son has been killed in action. And if there was the PTSD issues that I was already dealing with, kind of accelerated, as you can imagine, and things just got harder and harder. And my drinking increased. My marriage was failing, and these are all things that I think I had control over if I would have sought the help at the time, if I felt comfortable enough to reach out to somebody. And sometimes that's just your own thing, And part of what we want to do here in the as a peer support representative is make it okay to reach out. And I'm in that world, and I didn't feel like I could do it. Right. And so my world was spiraling out of control, and that put me literally on the bridge. That put me on a motorcycle going through an intersection with my eyes closed, just seeing what's going to happen on the other end. And then eventually that seeps over into your professional life. You might be able to think you're holding it together, but then you're going to get to that call, that one call that's going to say, you need some help, and you need it now.